When did you get here? Morning, class. Thank you for letting me crash your party. I am not really a JPZer. I am more of an outsider. I spent a little bit more time at WAER. Hope you all hold that against me. And thank you. Good night. I just want to say something now. I had Rick Wright for either COM 107, TCM 135. I didn't learn shit. All that I learned about was basketball. We had a guy, this is fall of 1981 or spring of 1982, and we had a player named Tony Red Bruin. And he was like a senior, and he's in my freshman class. Every time he came into class, Professor Wright would stop and go, "Red, nice game last night," running up and down the court. And for 45 minutes, we learned about basketball. So I say thank you. I do have one JPZ memory, not a funny one or any of that kind, but it was before you all went to the FM dial, and it was actually located, and Rick confirmed this for me a little while ago, it was right here, or where the parking structure is. And it was this run-down house. Spectrum. Spectrum was called Spectrum. And it was this run-down house, and you would do anything, and I encourage the students, do anything you can, any way to get in the door. And freshman year, I went in there on a Sunday morning, and what struck me most was from the third floor, there was an extension cord coming down to the second floor, which I understand actually powered the entire radio station. How far you guys have come. What I learned at WAER, as I would trudge through the snow at 3 o'clock in the morning from Castle Court to go over to Newhouse 2 to the radio station to be the board op for NPR, was how much it sucked. And realized that radio wasn't for me. The commitment, the passion to do that every single day, regardless of the weather, it wasn't for me. And I look around at the people that I've gotten to know in management and in talent, and that is something that you all share, which I salute you, is the passion for radio. You guys are all in that medium because you love it. I'm going to get back to that. There was one other thing I remember when I was at AER. There was a guy named Greg Papa. Do you guys remember Greg Papa? Yeah, he was a sportscaster, and if I was a sophomore, he was probably 2 or 3 years older than me. This guy was so good that when he wasn't on the air, he would be sitting reading the newspaper, and just by holding the newspaper, he would be able to do a sports broadcast. It was the most impressive thing that I ever did, which once again made me realize I just was not good enough to compete against the people that went to Newhouse, were at JPZ, were at AER. Rick Mattioni. Do you guys remember Rick Mattioni? He was the general manager of WAER. And you guys, if you get into radio, you're going to deal with program directors and GMs like this, I have no doubt. He tried to teach us how to say the word news. It's not news, it's news. It still sounded like news to me, and the only thing I can actually equate it to, if you saw the movie Private Parts with Howard Stern, when his general manager sits down and it's WNBC, and Howard keeps thinking it's WNBC. The reason I bring that up is because one of your fellow alums, I'm assuming Peter Haskell, was a WJPZ graduate, is now on CBS News Radio in New York, and every time he signs off, I hear news. Anyway, I came here for TV. Radio was really not an interest to me. But radio has tugged at me since I got out of college. I went to work for a TV syndication company called All American Television. I traveled around the country for 40 weeks a year selling TV shows. Our little company was built on one program, and it was a program hosted by Casey Kasem. It's called America's Top 10. So here was a radio icon that helped build a TV company I worked for. It continued to tug at me. Back in 1990, my company picked up a TV show to go out and sell in syndication called The Howard Stern Show. And this was a little cable accessy looking TV show that Howard was doing at WWOR-TV in New York in 1990. I was living out in LA at the time, and I was fortunate enough to meet a man by the name of Don Buchwald, who was Howard Stern's agent. And basically Don Buchwald made me an offer that I couldn't refuse, and I moved back to New York, and he taught me how to become an agent. And it's kind of at that moment that I gave up TV and started working more seriously with radio talent. He put me in a room, Don Buchwald did, to make me take the job with Howard Stern. He had me from Hello, and a man named Mel Karmazin, who was Howard's boss that most of you in this room know. Mel Karmazin knew it was about the talent. He said to me many times over the years, I can buy all the hardware that I want, but it's not valuable unless you have the software to go with it, which means it's about the talent. Both the people on air and the people behind the scenes. Don't forget that. Mostly the students, please don't forget that. When I got to Buchwald, I got to meet some of the radio legends that I grew up listening to New York. Pat St. John, Carol Miller, Dan Ingram, who had his own jingle, Dan Ingram, Meg Griffin, in San Francisco, radio legend Ron Owens, L.A., Michael Jackson, not that Michael Jackson, but the L.A. talker Michael Jackson, John DeBella, who many of you probably know because of Howard Stern, Elvis Duran. It was then that I got to see, again, what I didn't have, and it was the passion for the medium. Regardless of how old some of these people were, at the age of 50 and 60 and 70, they still came to work every single day loving radio. And that is the common thread that radio has that TV doesn't. And I've represented a lot of people in TV. And the people in TV, they just want to be on TV. They just want to make money. They just want to be famous. They don't have the intimacy with this thing. I salute you. I salute all of you on how special you are in radio. Before I give it over to Elvis, I just want to say a couple of things, A, to the students, and B, to the other people here, from my view as an agent. To management, it is about the talent. And we as agents aren't your enemy. And the talent that goes into the world now, you're going to find out that we agents are not respected or welcome for the most part in the radio business. Our company represented some of the greatest radio talent of this generation, and I can tell you in the 15 years that I was there, only twice, did I get a phone call from a radio station or a radio company looking for talent. It was always about me having to knock on the door. I found radio to kind of sometimes feel that they were the bastard stepchild of television and film. Radio has its own stars, its own power, and you should utilize agencies as a resource. We can help. We get as many tapes as you guys do, if not more. Theoretically, we know where the next big people are going to come from. So I urge you, for the people who are in radio management, don't keep the agent out of it. And we can't make you give us a deal you don't want. You're going to give us the deal you want. That's the bottom line. So please respect an agent.